Welcome to the PJ Finance Show.
Today we will talk about Treasury inflation-protected securities.
Hi Joe.
Hi Phoebe.
Have you ever wondered how to protect your investment from the eroding effects of inflation?
Many of us pondered that question at some point in our financial journey. Inflation is a silent but powerful force that can gradually erode the purchasing power of our money over time.
Exactly. Let's talk about TIPS. Treasury inflation-protected securities are U.S. government bonds designed to protect investors from inflation.
What does make them unique?
Here are some key features of TIPS. TIPS are also known as inflation-indexed bonds. The principal value of TIPS increases with inflation and decreases with deflation.
How does this work?
Suppose you purchased a 10-year Treasury inflation-protected security in 2022 with a face value of $1,000 and a fixed interest rate of 5%. Let's say the inflation rate now is 4%. The principal will adjust based on the inflation rate. Now, the face value of the TIPS will be $1,040. If the inflation rate is 5% next year, the principal will be adjusted again to $1,092. The coupon rate is set at the time of issuance and paid semi-annually. This rate will be applied at the adjusted principal so that you will receive a larger payment. In our example, you will receive $26 semi-annually in 2023 and $27.30 in 2024.
Interesting.
TIPS are issued with various maturity periods from 5 to 30 years, allowing investors to choose the duration based on interest rates and inflation outlook. The principal will not adjust below the par value in case of deflation. The rule is that, at the end of maturity, the government will repay you the greater of the par value or the current face value. For example, if during these 10 years we experience deflation and the face value of the TIPS is $950, you will get repaid $1,000.
How are TIPS traded?
TIPS are sold at auction by the Treasury and then traded on the secondary market. Existing bonds can be bought and sold between investors before the maturity date.
What about TIPS yield compared to regular Treasury bonds?
TIPS pay lower yields to compensate for inflation protection.
But how do I know if it is worth investment compared to regular Treasury bonds?
We compare the actual inflation rate with the break-even inflation. Break-even inflation is the rate at which TIPS will have the exact yield as regular Treasury bonds. If the inflation rate is more significant than break-even inflation, TIPS outperforms the regular U.S. Treasury bonds. TIPS underperforms the U.S. Treasury bonds if the inflation rate is lower or equal to break-even inflation. Thank you for watching. This presentation is brought to you by the PJ Finance Show.